given permission to share. Okay. Sahana bhavatu, Sahano bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaदितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ततो जयमुदीरयेत्.
We were here, right? The Nalakupura.
We are in that Damodara.
So now where he has gone and now those Arjuna trees are now, they have become. Varuni is quoting from Narada. Shall we read from here?
Yeah. Continue, Bar.
Narada, the divine sage, was passing that way by chance. The two trees. Who are those two trees? Is the story that we are seeing here. They were Kubera's sons, Nalakubera, Manigriva. So they were okay, we'll start from here. I'll tell you, Kubera, the lord of wealth and the guardian of the northern quarter, had two sons by name Nalakubera and Manigriva. These young men were young, good-looking, and naturally rich. It goes without saying that as a result of these blessings, they were arrogant. Once, on the banks of celestial Ganga, which was flowing at the foot of Kailasha mountain, these two young men were sporting with their women. They had taken too much of the divine drink by name Varuni, and they were deaf and blind to the world outside. They were sporting on the waters of Ganga like a pair of wild elephants with their harem. So completely indulged in sensual pleasure. So meeting when we are indulged in sense, yesterday actually this is reminding me of two shlokas that in Bhagavatam, in Vamanavatara, when Bali finally, Bali, Mahabali is taken by, he gives the Vishwarupa Darshanam, and after Mahabali surrenders, Mahabali is completely taken by Vamana. So the last chapter, which says that that is the after knowing that Mahabali is completely, humbled, then there are set of verses where Bhagavan is blessing Mahabali, and then he tells, now you go to the Patala Loka. So two shlokas are very beautiful. One was two things he says. He says, see, my grace is always available to my devotees. That's the thing. If any devotee has too much money and money, all the things he says, relationships, all the worldly, whatever the outer attachments, and he is seen by me that he is gradually moving away from my attention, from paying attention to me, then I will snatch away all that is diverting his attention from me. This is so Mahabali falls in that category. Little, even little, kinchit, that was there. Even little, because he is my devotee. And the next thing is, he says, when my devotee is, so the grace is available for my devotee. So first case is where even little bit, when the devotee gets distracted by something outer, even little bit of mada comes to them, then I will snatch it away. In Aksharamanamale also, there is a beautiful song where Ramana Bhagavan sings, let this pride, before this pride enters into the head, put your feet on my head, then ensure it does not gain strength. So that kind of, that one song. So the another cases where he says, when my devotee is there, it is like Ambarisha Maharaj and all what Bhagavatam talks about. Yeah. But they are detached. They don't even bother what they have. And they are completely abiding in me. In their case, I don't do anything with whatever their possessions. So Ambarisha Maharaj is one example there. Even Rishabhadeva being a king, they all were jnanis. They were not. So these are the two shlokas which came in. So these Nala Kubera and Manigriva also must have been some devotee. Otherwise, if you see here, they are completely indulging in senses. But what happens there is they are now coming in contact with Narada. Right? So they must be devotees. Otherwise, this doesn't happen when we are. So that way they are blessed. In fact, it is not a curse. It is the divine sage who is actually the divine sage is now aware of the weakness of these two, and he is sending them to Vrindavan. And so that's not even it's actually a blessing, right? It's not even a curse. And they are given a chance to be in that, like a tree, in that complete tamasic state, so that they cannot fall to their weakness. Actually, it is a protection. And sometimes there are few things which are taken away from us. We feel like we are, we do not have that, opportunity to, I don't know, whatever. Sometimes we feel that, right? It is actually maybe some temporary protection that the Lord is doing. Otherwise, I can fall into that. So the Lord knows the weakness of the devotee. And then we overcome that. That is also done. So that's what Narada is doing here. He is given them the tree birth. Even I think we mentioned it last week also. Swami talks about Ahalya also like that in Ramayana, where he says it's not that any curse of Gautama Muni. Ahalya falls from her, tapasya. Some weakness. So it's not out of anger or anything. That Maharishi, Gautama Maharishi now knows. So there is one kind of a low phase where all the growth, spiritual growth and all is paused. Okay, and they are in that tamasic state for some time. With that titiksha is the only quality, probably, in that they are there, they go through that, and then once they come in contact with an avatara purusha, that is what Gautama Muni also gives Ahalya. So always Swami says, not like stone in Valmiki Ramayana, that's not written like that. It is given like she goes into. So this also happens in many of our lives where we, especially even in this, sometimes there are times where, everything else is, we feel everything is very dull. So we just have to endure it for some time to then, things, it is for a reason that it is given. Some vasanas, he knows without too much suffering, something is getting cleansed there. That's also actually being a tree, lot of their things would have definitely got cleansed. That is why after they are redeemed, we will see a beautiful stuti that they do on Krishna. Yeah, this is what. Arti, you want to say something?
No. Whatever you said about in our lives, there is the dry phase.
Dry phase.
There is a kind of a dry phase where it almost can also feel like one is going backwards. Why is all this happening the same? So actually, it feels very dull. It feels very like there is a lack of flow. And that is a period actually, sometimes what happens at the very base, see, some of the vasanas we are aware of, some of the vasanas we are not aware of. They are very much in the subconscious, and they call it unconscious mind and all that, so many. So they may be so much in the shadow that we may not know, but that will that it takes time to thaw. It takes a long time to thaw, and that period is that stagnation, like being like a tree, being like a jata. It may feel dull, but there is something happening within, and it is also a grace. It is also a blessing. And when the right time comes, there will be some Mahapurusha coming to clear that doubt also, that phase also for you. It will come like a big waking up or something like that. So that's a very beautiful analogy, when we say this tree, and even if there is a birth like that, right, as a human being, and then they become a tree, it can be a blessing. In a way, maybe the need to serve would come out in another way, right? Everything, he knows what is best for us. So it is in our eyes, we will look at it as now they have told Nara Janma Durlabha. So Nara is only the highest. So if I am not a Nara and I am not born as a Nara, something is wrong with me. No, Nara Janma is high because it gives us the opportunity to come out of it. That also he knows when to give what, according to our mala.
Arhata.
Our argada, our mala. Mala, right? What is the mala for that? How should it come out? So it is like we have this physical body. In the physical body, what happens? Every moment we eat, immediate reaction, no? Mala has to come out. If that mala doesn't come out, what happens? Constipation. Little time, okay. Too long, then we feel suffocated, something is happening, bloated, not comfortable. Like that, in the prana level, we have toxins. They go and settle, energy blocks here and there. At the mind level, it goes, and the mala is our vasanas. Something we think about, we take raga dvesha, we take pain and pleasure, we have emotions attached to it, and all that becomes one vasana. That is also our mala. How much time do we take? How often are we ready to flush out that mala? We retain it for so long, and we don't even know that it is constipation problem. we are suffering because of that. We blame everything. We blame the world and everything. But that is why we may not be able to see. But the beautiful thing about Bhagavatam is saying you just hold on to him. He will show you the path. Our job is to hold on to him. I was that one shloka in Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, it talks about bhavana. Bhavana mandala. I think it is 2.65 or 66 or something. It was,
Yuktasya bhavanada. Ashantasya kutasukam.
that one. Ashantasya kutassukham.
It starts with.
So it says, talks about a buddhi yukta, the one who is not.
Nasti buddhira yuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhavayata shantihi, ashantasya kutasukam.
Yeah. So one who is not established, whose buddhi is not strong or established, that bhavana mandala, it struck me actually. It gave me some. It's Bhavana Mandala is where all this Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and all those people, no, and Namadev, they were all operating, constantly seeing the divine Pratyaksha. Am I frozen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear it.
They used to see Pratyaksha, right? If you go to Pandharpur and all these, I think it's a little away from the topic though. It just came to my mind.
Yeah, it has come for a reason. Go ahead.
It has come. So the seeing them in the as Pratyaksha, sitting with them, Janabai say doing the grinding and he is also grinding with her. It is all a very high plane. But it is still in the mind plane only. But it is a very high divine form. It is the highest mind plane, if you say. And when we go beyond that, that is why Totapuri came and asks Ramakrishna Paramahansa to go beyond that so that he can be with the self. That Bhavana Mandala is so beautiful, and that is what Bhagavatam gives, that rasa. That rasa, right? That beautiful, that bhakti, that bhava of that flows. When you listen to these stories, it takes us to that Bhavana Mandala. So all of these have happened in real, have happened in Veda Vyasa's mind, in his Bhavana Mandala also, as he has written this. And through his writings, he is bringing it to our, invoking our bhava, that bhakti towards him.
That's what Swami says, no? This Bhavana Mandala is very, very important. Yes, okay, visions and all that are there, but for a normal, a regular sadhaka, we can say, right, like us, purifying Bhavana Mandala is Upasana. The work, what Upasana does, what this Japam does, what Swadhyaya does, what this Satsangam does, all, right now, probably, the Bhavana Mandala is just scattered. It is scattered with, what is happening in the world. There is one video where Swami talks very beautifully about this Bhava Mandala in one Bhagavata Satsanga. If find it, I will forward it in the group. We must listen to that, how important it is for us, when we are hooked on to some mobile shots, it is even without us actually observing, there are so many things which are absorbed in our Bhavana Mandala. Okay. So when we are in this path, we should treat that like a small baby. One small little beautiful bhava comes, that is a newborn child. We have to protect it, nourish it, ensure nothing else is. That is why for a bhakta, the bhava mandala is very, very sacred. When people cannot talk about it. It is not something to. So it is by continuously, reading such granthas, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all our, whatever, Vedanta granthas, Upanishads, doing Parayanam of shlokas, stutis, japa, all these things, like what Aarti said, it shifts the mind from where right now there are so many ruts, it is running in that. And the main thing for that channel, from where it is running, all the channels are moving away from are running from I and mine. That's the main place. From there are so many channels which are running. And that is how the Bhava Mandala. So to purify the Bhava Mandala, Yoga Vashishta, there are some Sapta Bhumika. In that, Bhava Shuddhi comes as some, I don't remember the step. Bhava Shuddhi. So our Upasana Mandala is Bhava Shuddhi. We have to give time. We have to make time. Time is Krishna. Give time and purify the Bhava Mandala. We listen to Bhagavatam for some time. Then we sit with Bhagavatam. One shloka also is enough. You don't have to even understand. That's why Swami says Vedavyasa has created this vibhuti. What it does, it purifies our bhava mandala. That's all. We don't have to get into whether it happened that time, this time, did Krishna, or that. No, that doesn't help us. The bhava mandala purification is the purpose of this vibhuti. So, it is very important that, so these channels, they slowly get covered actually, the I-mind channels. The more and more we will see, that's why after every bhakta, you see Brahma Stuti, so many Kunti Stuti, we have been seeing so many Stutis, Bhishma Stuti, lot of things come. Everyone, what do they ask? Even Vritrasura, everyone say, I want satsanga. Take me from this, knots of ignorance. So what does this mean? It is like, this Bhagavatam is again and again and again putting us back into that mandala where it is about the higher. This aham vritti stops operating. The aham vritti stops operating, and then there are higher vrittis which are there. And the buddhi becomes, by bhavana shuddhi, the buddhi becomes more subtle, very, very subtle.
Vyavasayatmaka buddhi. Ekeha. It becomes more.
Ekeha, just subtle and one point. Yeah. It can truly decipher the sat and asat. Can truly decipher and hold on to the sat. Yeah, all these things happen only when the bhava mandala is purified. So this, and it cannot be done always, the power that there was one recently, beautiful. It's all from Bhagavad Gita only. Swami's, I will just read that, see. The power to do sadhana. The power that runs our sadhana smoothly is not the power of the ego. It is the power of grace, Paurusha. That's what Paurusham Rishu says Bhagavan, right? So that power takes over. This ego, it becomes powerless as the Bhava Shuddhi happens. Ego becomes powerless and this power takes over. And we see all Narayaniam, Krishna Karnamritam, all such. There is one Mukundamala also, which even all the Saundarya Lahari, Shivananda Lahari, take all these are in that beautiful Bhava Mandala that great Acharyas have just lived and written. All the Abhangs, all Surdas, Tulsidas, we see all the Kirtans also, it has all sprung from that Bhavamandala. So the Bhavamandala purification, okay, little bit in the ego starts, but then slowly the ego weakens and there is the power of grace which completely takes over. Only that can purify the Bhavamandala. So connecting to here, it is the power of grace which is now purifying the Nalakubera and Manigriva. Because there is absolutely nothing, right, in being a tree. Yeah, it is a grace. That time they are there. Some bhava, mandala, some purification is happening there. That's all. But Ishvara only knows. Bhagavan knows. So Narada, one moment of satsanga also, they say, is such a great blessing. The kind of purification happens is cannot be true satsang, where this mind is not working. Even a moment, if it happens, it's a great blessing. You know? For Dhruva also, we see Narada everywhere as, wandering as grace in Bhagavatam. He's the Guru in Bhagavatam, right? Everywhere it is. He's the one who first
Brings
inspired.
bhakti into one.
Yes. He's the one who first comes and initiates Vedavyasa into Bhagavatam. So, Swami also says, Narada is the Rishi in Bhagavatam. Yeah. So he is the one who inspires Vedavyasa to even bring about this Vibhuti. And everywhere we see Dhruva, I think everywhere it is Sage Narada who is there and beautifully holding the individuals and guiding, being there. Yes.
So all that effort that Yashoda Ma tried to tie the two fingers and one finger representing her effort, anyone's effort to be in this Bhava Mandala, whatever, to go there, to go beyond, to be with the divine forever. But the other is his grace.
For this, I'm remembering a very beautiful story which Swami says, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, it seems. So Swami narrates that story. It's very beautiful. So there is a small bird, okay, very small bird, which had put its laid eggs in the tree and had gone somewhere, and something, I don't remember, it takes that and those eggs or flood comes, I think. Okay, a little bit variation might be there. I don't remember the exact details. And it completely, the water has now taken the eggs. Okay, it is gone. This bird, what it does, that water is so fury, now it's flowing. Yeah, this bird is so what it does, it takes in its beak that water and puts it outside. It is taking that water from there and putting it outside. It is doing, it's taking the water from there and putting it into the bank, basically. It's doing that. And there also, guess who comes? Sage Narada comes. So Narada comes there and he looks at this bird and he asks, what are you doing? And the bird says, this is what happened. Now this water has taken away my eggs. I'm very angry with this water. I'm not able to find the egg. So I'm going to empty this water completely. I'm going to take away all this and put it here and I will find my eggs. Then Narada says, don't you understand? Look at this Fury river, how huge it is. So many waves in this and it is so deep. And with this small beak, will you be able to do it? And this bird says, I don't know whether I'll be able to do it or not. Okay, but I will give my try. I'll keep taking this and I'll put it back. Then Narada is looking at that bird. After some time, out of karuna, compassion for that tireless effort, Narada takes that egg, redeems that and gives it back to the bird. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, what the bird does is our ego's effort. Yeah, my vasanas are there like that fury river. But the ego's effort has to happen. I have to get that vairagya somehow. I have to say enough of this mind, doing all this, enough, and I will take control over my mind, whatever. With all that, we start this. Yeah. Looking at that effort, the Lord is so compassionate. The Lord takes over, and only He can do it. Yeah, that's what it means. But the compassion comes when we are ready to plunge, when we are ready to get ourselves cleansed, when we say, Naham, Naham, Tvam, Tvam, I'm not there, you alone are. This is what always Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says. So, it's so beautiful.
Beautiful. I'm reminded of another story, very similar to Kabir ka story. It's there as a song. I think might have told this story, but it is about that bird who was friends with a tree. The tree was all alone. It was dry and it was almost withering away. At that time, this bird comes and builds a nest on it. And immediately this tree starts giving out one leaf and another leaf, and so then over time it becomes lush green. And now, because the bird is coming there constantly, it was a barren land. Now it is putting its droppings, and hence more trees are coming and growing, and everything is happening. One day the tree catches fire. The whole forest catches fire. And this bird flies and brings water from the lake nearby. Through all that, its wings are getting burnt, everything is happening, and it is coming, and it says, how can I not, I have to do. And it comes and puts the water on the tree, its friend. It goes, it brings, it goes, it brings in the little beak. The tree says, no, go save yourself. What will this water do? Will it make a difference? How will it make a difference? It says, no, but how can I leave you? And it goes, brings, and it is getting burnt. And then for a second it says, oh God. And then it stops. It's so burnt, it is not able to fly anymore. And it just stops for a second and says, I don't know, what do I do now? And all the clouds then start pouring. So the grace, it is like that, effort and surrender. Effort and surrender. When both these come together, like that, like this tree, that love for the divine, when we can hold on to that love so strongly, love for the divine, not only in the self, but in the people, in everything we see, everywhere. We see only His love, and that we are only serving. We keep trying, the mind will come, but we try. We put our effort. At one point in time, like Bala said, Ayyappa, this mind is so elusive. When you feel, He will come. That is the Paurusham. He comes and He takes control. He gives His grace. He lends His hand at that point in time. The only thing is, we must remember, that picture, that from the Mahabharata shloka, that picture of that man hanging, samsara, that man hanging from a tree's branch. The tree is being pushed by an elephant. There is a black rat and a white rat gnawing at the branch. Lord Vishnu is giving out a hand. Next to him, there is one honeycomb which is dripping the honey. There is below the person, there is a big well with lots of snakes. When we are reaching out to Bhagwan's hand is always there. Are we going to reach out to His hand when He gives it, or are we going to look for that last drop of honey that sweetness in the world. Looking for that sweetness in the samsara. It's a very high state, but that is what we do.
Because for this, the Swami says, no, it is very important that Vairagya sets in.
Yeah.
I must clearly know, I must have gone through that suffering because of the mind. I should know that mind is suffering. Mind which is made of this iron mind. That fabric which what is that? That Gurudev uses, no? Warp and woof. The warp and woof. That is, if you see any fabric, there is a horizontal and a vertical. That's how they are weaved, right? So that Gurudev calls it, Chinmaya Gurudev calls it warp and woof of the fabric of the mind right now is me and mine, mine. Should say enough. Then only, huh?
All the three malams, Maya malam, Karma malam, and Anava malam.
Everything, that last thing can be taken only by him. He only can, in fact, he only cuts the ribbon and inaugurates it also, but we don't realize. After some time, we'll realize. Very beautifully, because we are talking about this Vairagya of the mind, because in Nanyar, in Who Am I book, in Ramana Bhagwan, he says, the question is, what is Vairagya? So Bhagavan says, not allowing the mind to come up, and holding, being there and not allowing the thoughts to come up, and being completely ready to take a plunge within. That kind of a thing. I'm not able to translate it tonight. It's in Tamil for me. So that is Vairagya. So it is like 2 days back in Satsang, Swami was saying, in Rudra, it starts with I salute the bow, the arrow. Before that, first he says that Krodha in Rudra. I salute the Krodha in Rudra. This Mundaka Upanishad satsang is going on. So in that he was connecting that with Vairagya. He said, see, the Krodha in Rudra is the first manifestation. You must get that, anger. It must manifest. How much ever I try, it's not happening. Whatever is the thing of each one of us, or either anger that manifests, and then the bow of the Upanishad, the arrow of the Upasana, and the target is Bhagavan.
This anger is not another anger. This anger is a longing. Yeah,
correct. It's all, somewhere it can manifest based on our samskara. It need not be like because Rudra is the one who is going to
he's a transformer.
Annihilation.
He is the annihilator. He is the destroyer. So when you're talking about destroyer of our samsara, of our attachment to the samsara.
Our ego.
Our ego.
Avidya.
Destroy, how do we get connected to this thing? Through our raga dvesha.
Yeah.
I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I don't like this. This is how our connection is set with the samsara. The root cause of our connection to the samsara is raga dvesha. I want this, I don't want this, I want this, I don't want this, constantly going on. Then we go beyond it, and then one Vishaya we think, we develop raga towards it, or we develop dvesha towards it. This is so all we need. Our thing is to let go. Let go of the raga dvesha. When the raga dvesha is not there, the mind is not there. There's nothing for the conflict. Sometimes the spiritual ego can also be very, very deceptive.
Huh?
It can be very deceptive.
Yeah. Slyly it'll be there.
It is a very sly. You'll say, no, oh, this is I like it this way. This is my raga, and I will project it on everybody. That, or I will get disturbed if others are. So everything, no, it is all coming from a space of raga, dvesha. Somewhere it is there in the mind. Just because someone is, sometimes the spiritual line can cause more raga, dvesha. In fact, once somebody goes, and it is so much harder to do that little viveka, the discernment, because there is so, even though the thoughts of the scriptures are playing, this is playing, that is playing, it's very difficult to do that discernment, that it is coming out of raga dvesha.
That is why satsanga, the presence of divine
Guru, a divine,
beings, are very important.
very important
When
to
it is
guide us
just
on the right
done
way.
with our own intellect, no, we get.
Yeah, it can be very.
It is not possible. A higher being is necessary. A higher guide is necessary. That's why the importance of, spiritual guide is very important. It's very important. Cannot. Then that there also it becomes a samsara. That's all.
Exactly.
It is a samsara. Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to this. So
They
now,
had taken too much of the divine drink by name Varuni, and they were deaf and blind to the world outside. They were sporting on the waters of the Ganga like a pair of wild elephants with their harem. Narada, the divine sage, was passing that way by chance. He saw them, but they, even after seeing him, were too drunk to pay any attention to him. They forgot that they should have honored the rishi, nor did they realize that they were behaving indecently in the presence of great men. The women rushed to the banks and quickly covered themselves up with the clothes which they had left there. They had saluted Narada, but the two brothers heeded him not. Somewhere they were drunk in their ego. Narada wanted to cure them of the dreaded disease which goes by the name arrogance, and he also wanted to grace them with the good fortune of being saved by Krishna. Narada spoke, he said, man is visited by different types of mada, arrogance. A high-born prince is arrogant. A scholar will sometimes be arrogant. Rajoguna is often the cause of arrogance, but there is arrogance of a different type, different form from all the others, which is far worse. It is the arrogance born of Shri, wealth. So here he is clearly differentiating. Okay, Shri, okay, wealth. Because with wealth, man gets involved with woman, with gambling, with drinking, and when such a formidable arrogance visits him, man loses all perspective and becomes blind and deaf to ordinary rules of decorum even. Man loses his self-control and he becomes devoid of even kindness. He deludes himself into thinking that his body is permanent. To satisfy the thirsts of this body, he does not hesitate even to kill. The king who rules the entire earth and the beggar on the roadside are both equal. When death comes, it equals them, and both are reduced to the same handful of ashes. But the arrogant man does not realize this. He kills, not realizing what is in store for him. This body belongs to the one who feeds it, to the father and mother who made it, and in the end to the worms like ants and animals like the dog which consume it. Only a fool will consider his body to live forever, since he does not know the difference between the body and the dweller in it, the deha and the dehin. To one whose intellect is clouded because of arrogance, the only cure is poverty. Only a poor man will know that he is equal to the animals. A man who has suffered the pricks of thorns for lack of a better bed, whose face is weak for want of food, such a man will never wish another living being to come to harm. Even so, a man who has not gone through these tortures will not know the meaning of the word compassion. True, very true. That mind level compassion, no, it comes only when most people know I have gone through this, so I understand. And if you have not gone through all these difficulties at the mind level that a poor man goes through, can never, it is what will come out is not compassion, it is pity, which comes from a space of ego. Oh, my life is so good, look at their lives. As though they are somewhat lesser than us, and I have to uplift.
All these are statements of atheism.
Yeah.
I don't believe in a higher being, yeah,
Mm.
the one who is controlling moment by moment. And I say, I don't believe in that protector who is ever protecting all lives, right? That is not there. And as if the pity is purely an egoistic expression, empathy, all that. Be reading Bhagavatam, you must know Bhagavan is the center. I am not the center. Bhagavan is the center. When Bhagavan is center, when we look at people on roads, yeah, there, when it is very common to see, right? Nowadays, here also we see, you go to Tiruvannamalai, you see so many. That night was pouring, and, if from an ego point of view, I can say, oh, thank you, okay. But then, you've given me all this, but these poor people do not have all this. Those kind of things, we think it is but actually it comes from our,
Ego.
somewhere I have that
Anava
superiority
malam
that
only
I have.
that.
Huh?
Anava malam.
Yeah, I have that. But when Bhagavan is in the center, we admire, oh my God, you have given them that strength to endure this kind of weather with just that and sleep so peacefully. This kind of vision comes when Bhagavan is in the center. That is when true help, uh, just goes. Nobody is put down. There is no up or down, in any worldly transactions. It's not like giving wealth or taking wealth. Bhagwan has given an opportunity for someone, one way of looking at it is Bhagwan is giving opportunity to share wealth. A more centered way is it is all Krishna. Krishna keeps it here and Krishna puts it there for some time. That's how great Bhagavatas, when we see the way Bhagavatas live, that's how there's no absolutely Madhrita Kasya Svidhanam. That's why Ishavasya Upanishad starts the very first mantra saying that Tena Tyaktena, just what Kasya Svidhanam, even little bit that you think is yours, you renounce and then Bunjita. And then you can so that is very, renouncing is about it. Then whatever Ishvara gives, it is all his. Everything is yours. What is mine? Nothing is mine. So in that, because I am not there, no? There is no ego. There is no place for this ego. So that's the, then wealth, we must be very careful. So only bhakti can save us from that arrogance. Otherwise, it is very difficult. A daily spiritual practice. Even then, you never know how we can get into that. But then we are devoted. He will protect us. Even when we fall, he will hold and correct and bring us back. There is no real falling when Bhagavan is there. In fact, that story comes, right? When Brahma creates Vasishtha. Vasishtha is Manasaputra. In Yoga Vasishtam, they say, when Vasishtha was, what do you say, creator or whatever, comes from Brahma, Manasaputra, then Vasishtha is the guru. He's going to be the, so Brahma, Vasishtha says, how can I be? I do not know. I've just come. I do not know the samsara. So in 1 minute or something. So Brahma takes him through the entire suffering. Yeah, the entire thing. That song is also there, no? Tunba pudathilittu thuyavanaki vettar. You keep me in that. So one must know that so Brahma takes him through. Only then compassion, the word meaning of compassion itself comes to somebody.
Only when one knows, see, that thing is there, no? Sadness is there so that we know happiness. Darkness is there so that we know light. Like that only when one who knows the suffering can understand the value of the light also.
Yes.
And also, in other ways, if you see Bhagavad Gita, Prapya Punya Kritah Lokana, Kritam Lokan, that shloka, it talks about when a yogi has fallen, he will be born in a wealthy house.
Yoga Rudha.
Matlab, he has gone through this thing, but somewhere he has fallen from his yoga, then he'll be put in a. Why are they put in the wealthy house? They are given an opportunity so that they don't have to keep working for that money. It is already there. So that they can devote their time. They don't have to work on this thing. They are given such a house so that now it is time for them to
continue their
penance and everything. But what happens? Man goes after the honey instead of holding on to the divine. But also there will be a shift. There are three attachments, no, very high attachments, they'll say. I don't know what it is called. One attachment is that very strong mother's attachment when a newborn has come. She's fiercely defensive about that child, fiercely attached to the child. And that is the child, it is a divine attachment, which is maybe a manifestation for the protection of the baby, of the new life. This is a very strong attachment. Another is, I think, a miserly person's attachment to the wealth. He be counting all the time, holding on to the wealth, not wanting to give away anything at all the time, holding on. And there is one more, I'm not remembering. I think
Bhagavatam says it is Sri Purusha Granthi. That is the highest.
That is also there, no? Correct.
Yeah.
Sri Purusha Granthi is also
the highest, says Bhagavatam.
Because higher than even mother child, that newborn mother child.
Yeah, that's temporary. No, this is lifelong.
So this husband and wife Granthi is also.
No, it's not just that loving attachment, right? Attachment means what?
Loving attachment is through Raga Dvesha only. Any attachment has Raga Dvesha in it.
But the motherhood.
The mine, I me mine, rather, in that.
Yeah, motherhood is not that.
Motherhood is an ordained attachment.
It's only that's why it's for a short span.
But once the child grows, then it continues forever also.
Huh?
Motherly love that continues forever also. That is also like the Sri Purusha Granthi only. That's what.
So that is an attachment.
Yeah. But like that, these are the Granthis, no? Like this Granthi, how strong it is, we should attach to the divine. We should just turn it 180 degrees. Yeah. These Granthis are the strongest Granthis and the hardest to come out, but all we have to do is the same way. This is a very good example of how strongly we should hold on to the divine. Actually, that's the thing. The Bhagavatam later calls it as Vaisharadi Vidya. No? It is the path of love. Path of bhakti is that attachment is very, very natural. We cannot live without it. Yeah. But the problem is we are thinking I am attached to somebody. No, it is the inner love that actually is flowing. What is that? Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Right? Everything is something, I love something because the love is within here, but there is a wrong knowledge that by fulfilling something, I get that sukha. When that wrong knowledge gets manifested in the buddhi, then that sukha only, what do you say? Surakardikene.
The Sukha
Flows.
துறக்கிறது.
Overflows.
No. The spring starts, right? What is it? Something, okay? That சொரக்கிறது we say. So
Okay, the springs is.
that spring starts. So in Sukha, we feel that Priyam, the true Priyam, actually. So the feeling within is the same. Yeah? When, say, a teenager is completely in love, when a girl and a boy, yeah, the buddhi has connected it to that person. But that feeling of that priyam is the same. Yeah? It is the same as when I eat. Yeah? Even Stri Purusha Samparka also they say. It's all that's all a very heavy granthi. They all are multiple lifetimes we are carrying all these things. So this in Let Go, a beautiful book by who? Raghuramji's guru, no? His face is coming and his name is not coming. Let Go book author. So
Shastri.
Shastriji. So that's what he says.
Shastriji.
Correct. So he says, if we look at that Sukha, it's a fantastic way to just turn that attachment. Someone who is very attached, it's very easy. Someone who, just turn that attachment to Bhagavan. How to do that is that moment of that, when that priyam is there, no? We should hold on to that priyam and not the object.
Yeah, just let go of the object. That's all.
That's it. Yeah, it's not in the object. Yeah, this priyam is there. Now, holding on to that priyam, we will see, then slowly we'll realize it is divine. It is within. It is that when the mind is actually so it's that is what is called unconditional love. I do not love because I like somebody. I do not love because my desire is fulfilled there. It is not that I love someone because
my expectations are matching.
That love just springs within. Whenever desires, again, Nanyar is coming up. So Bhagavan says, this sukham, this pure love which comes, it is called sukham because, it is expansive. So he says, when that pure love, even when our desires are fulfilled, even when someone who I like is happy, or even when something or someone who I dislike, is not happy, whatever, all those things. So those times and all, the mind abides in the self. Those are the moments where the mind, see, this is a very important thing. If we know that, we will know to hold on to that priyam within. So those are the moments where, as simple as eating something that I like, when I'm eating and that, during that sensual, we call it as a sensual pleasure, but because I think it is from that dosa, but it's not from the dosa. At that moment, when that eating is happening, there are no thoughts. It is sukha. So the mind has abided in its source. Hold on to that sukha. Leave the dosa. It is not because of dosa. Hold on to the sukha. It is not because of children or husband.
Don't attach that sukha to the dosa.
Yeah, that is the ignorance.
We are experiencing sukha because our hunger is satisfied, maybe at the base level.
Yeah, at a much deeper level, there are no thoughts.
There are no thoughts.
Mind. No mind. So the Satchit Ananda is actually there. There is no mind at all. That is so know that first. And be that. So this is the way to overcome our attachments actually. Then when we start seeing everything as divine. Actually, we will really be, freeing the other also by not attaching.
Yeah, that is so true. The more we hold on, our attachment does not let the other move around much properly. Becomes like a knotted entanglement, a string moved around them. They feel bound by our attachment actually.
Like this.
No. By the control, by the expectations, by the
Expectations
blame,
are
by
very.
the all of that.
Conditions, ma.
Conditions.
Condition.
It's all control. Trying to control the other because we feel we want them to act according to our mind. We want the world to act according to our mind. Otherwise, I feel a sense of lack of control.
No, there also the Ragadvesha is playing, right? I like it only this way. So I want them to be like this. I think
And that raga,
Sukha
and
is
you know
like
what happens? That raga, I want them to be only this way. So that is a raga. If they are not like that, there is a dvesha.
Dvesha.
And then letting go of that control is abhinivesha.
Yeah.
Fear that it will go the way I don't want it to go. That abhinivesha makes us control more and more. That fear now. What if it does not go my way? What if it does not go my way? So I am doing this, I'm doing that, as though this mind knows. As though this mind is the unlimited. That is our delusion.
Yeah.
As though this mind has all the power and knows what is right, what is wrong, how things should flow. That lack of surrender. The mind puts a dam to the flow of the river.
Yes. And then the basic error is the buddhi somehow has learned that there is sukha only when things go my way. That's the error. Like what Aarti said, no mind, nothing. Mind knows nothing actually. Okay, but then that is the error. But sukha is within. Atma, what is it? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanye atmana tushtaha is self-satisfied. Means within, he knows Satchit Ananda is within. Then that deep fulfillment is there, completeness is there. Then what? Nothing. Then there is no raga, no dve, no asmita only.
And
So,
that is the job of the ego. The
yeah.
ego does not want to lose itself, its
Hmm.
control. So it brings up that fear,
Hmm.
the abhinivesha, and we give in to it. But that is the ego trying to keep its relevance. And
Its
the more we
existence.
act through it, the more we are giving it relevance, the more it grows.
Hmm.
You know that story of Ganesha and the mouse?
Hmm.
Somewhere the mouse was growing and growing, and every time when the mouse came and it scared some people, and the people became scared and they ran, the mouse became bigger. Some more people came to fight it, it scared them again. They become so scared, and this mouse became bigger and bigger and bigger. And then Ganesha comes, and the mouse, this we will do for children like this, okay? And then they'll come and do, the mouse will come and do and the people will come and they'll get scared and they'll run away. And then the mouse will do and Ganesha will do a louder and the mouse will become kutti, and he will ride it like a vehicle. That is what we need to do to our ego. But the ego will bring up fear, we will give in to that fear, the ego will grow. No, more and more and more, the fear will consume us. Fear of what? Fear of losing control. Fear of the world not being the way, the image I have in my mind of how the world should be. We have to become louder than the ego and say, shut up, sit down. I'm okay. Everything is fine. We have to ride it. Make it small. See that big Ganesha was riding on that Kutti Munjur. Like that. Okay, we'll close the session. Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.